Welcome along to the Semi-Pros. Great to have your company again on another big show this week. Plenty happening in sport. We continue our focus on the DDBBL. We are just days away, or just over a week or so away from the big player draft. We'll find out who's going where. Our ITP Haines Wilson guest this week is none other than Justin Anderson. He is the coach of the Aidacare Aztecs, so that should be interesting. Troy's old team. He was the captain of them last year, so I'm sure that'll be quite interesting with Ando. We'll head out to the Southern Hotel. Shane Mogg's going to join us. We'll have a look at the Southern Hotel shot clock, where we're going to talk a bit about Cameron Smith, the situation there at the moment. Will he play on? Won't he play on? How does that affect their roster? A couple of fair hookers that are sort of waiting in the wings in Melbourne. So some big decisions to be made by the Storm. We'll put that under the microscope in the Southern Hotel shot clock. And as always, we will have a look at what our rocks and diamonds are, thanks to Hogans Family Jewelers. And we'll also hopefully try and find you a winner or two on the punt across the weekend. That's all coming up on the Semi-Pro. Stay tuned. We're up next.
Just about done, mate. Surely. There you go. That's outstanding. That much talent running around in our own backyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Semi-Pros. The Semi-Pros.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Let's go.
Big show this week on the Semi-Pros. He was missing last week. Troy Gursky, you're back. How are you?
Yeah, mate. Had a few days off last week. Popped up to the coast for a few nights.
Anything happen?
Hooked myself a bride, mate.
Oh.
Yeah. It's done.
How'd that all go?
Done. How did it all go?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a romantic type of fella.
Yeah.
Got down on bended knee and in a nice romantic spot, and yeah, it's all done.
No hesitation from the bride?
Oh, no, thank God. Eh? Thank God. A few nervous moments beforehand, but no, all good. It's a good few days. So,
you've done some amazing things in your sporting career, captain your country at World Cups, gone out for big, must-win overs, etc. Do you feel more pressure doing this or sport?
I was actually pretty good until about 5 minutes out, I reckon. And I reckon I was more nervous. I was more nervous than I was going into bat in that 2009 World Cup final, I reckon. So, yeah. But no, it's all good, mate. We're all ready to move on to the next chapter. I'm getting a lot of
exciting.
Tomorrow's. She's already done a fair bit of searching into venues and all that type of stuff, mate. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so he's not on yet, but he'll be on soon. But a lot of people have talked about the pressure that it's now put on Steve Glover or other panellists. Joel Stow's away today, actually, but Steve Glover will be joining us any moment. But a lot of people are now talking about the pressure that it's placed on him.
Mate, the big G train has got all the pressure on him, hasn't he? And mind you, he has got big shoulders, the big fella. So
he does.
Sure he can. Yeah, he'll be right, mate. He'll be right. So
he does. Yeah. He does. And I was talking to the commissioner of the DDBBL, Mr. Kent Reamers. Obviously, he's chimed in with a comment here too to say that you're glowing.
Oh, thanks,
so I don't know what that's about in relation to. But anyway,
yeah, I'm always
glowing. But he's also talking about we might have to do a draft for the tables for the wedding.
That could be a possibility too. Yeah. Draft. There could be a few axings. We'll see how a few you boys behave over the next few months. So,
see who gets the number one seat.
It'll be sought after, won't it, mate? To get a
wedding of the decade, I think he was calling it, or century, something like that.
Probably,
something like that. So, but actually, and our next guest joining us shortly. But the other question he asked me is that you haven't nominated yet. I've seen the nominations, and you haven't nominated yet for the DD.
Yeah, I better do that. I might try and do that tonight or tomorrow. When's it shut? Saturday.
I was talking the other day. If he's online, Remo put up when it is again. I'm sure it's next week because the draft's on the 14th.
Right. So nominations shut next week, do they?
He'll put it up here in a second. You'll see it up here any moment now if he's still online watching with us. But yeah, so 14th is when the big draft is on. So nominations do close next week. So there's a few sleepers out there.
Next Friday, draft night.
14th, yeah.
Yeah. So what? It's out at the race course. Is there any restrictions? Do we know?
Sorry.
Is there any restrictions involved? What do we know? The processes.
So I suppose to be within the square meterage that is required, etc., to follow on. So NOM's closed this Friday night. Sorry,
jeez, I better get in.
So you've got 24 hours. So this Friday night, so the final draft, the full list will be there. So you'll be able to see who all the players are that have nominated for the draft, and we're waiting to see if your name does appear.
Okay. Yeah, I'll better have a look at that tomorrow, I suppose, or tonight.
So NOM's closed this Friday night. So that's a really important fact that I needed to get out there. So
have you got yours in yet, James?
Sorry?
Have you got yours in yet?
Why would I be in there?
Oh, you'd bowl some little left arm, little tweakers or something, wouldn't you? You know,
left arm. They're probably better than the right arms, actually. So,
I wonder if Steve's putting his name in. He was talking about it.
I sort of probed him on it last week, but I didn't get a yes or a definitive yes or no answer from him. So that'll be interesting. Okay. But Ken Ream said they're going to have 200 people, so first in, first serve. So that's also really, really important for those that want to come along to it. Now, I did get sidetracked slightly, but congratulations on the engagement. I said it was quite exciting. We put up a post earlier in the week, so there was a few mystery people tagged in it as your partner, though, which was a little bit concerning, obviously. So some mistakes were made there, but caused a little bit of a furore.
Here he is, old big shoulders.
Here he is. So he's in. But congratulations, Troy.
Thanks, mate.
A worthy milestone to celebrate.
Long time coming. Coming from you. Hilarious. Hey?
There you going, Steve?
Good, mate. Good. Just keeping the economy rolling on.
That's good of you.
Yeah.
So, as Kent Ream said, we haven't seen your nomination yet for the DDBBL.
When do they close?
Tomorrow. So if you can fill it out tomorrow.
We thought it was next week.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, so fill it. So we look forward to seeing a couple of names on there for that. Righto, boys, let's get into
it. Is the missus let him nominate, or
what's that, mate?
Is the missus letting you nominate, or what?
I'm my own man, mate. Do what I like. Most of the time.
Good one.
Yeah, I'll be nominating. Yep.
Look forward to it. So who knows? You might end up in your old team. We'll find that out shortly, though. But as I said, huge show coming up. So thanks to all our sponsors and supporters of the program. Of course, it support us each week. Of course, Haines Wilson, ITP Toowoomba, they present our special guest each week. So of course, our special guest, as I said, that will be coming up after the break will be Justin Anderson. So, man, you guys know very, very well. So it could be an interesting chat there as well. And I said for the Southern Hotel, we've got the shot clock coming up a little bit later. We'll put the microscope on the Cameron Smith situation at Melbourne. Keen on anyone's thoughts there with will he play, won't he play? How's that affecting the Storm in terms of their moving forward? A couple of pretty handy players in the background there, keen to get a hooking role. So we'll see what occurs with that. And, of course, thanks to Hogans Family Jewelers, we'll look at our rocks and diamonds. But as always, we'll kick things off with what do I call it? Semi-Pro Soapbox, presented to you by Black and White Cabs Toowoomba. The Soapbox, Bubs, first week in this. You missed last week. Bubs Bander, what's on your mind?
On my mind is we are coming into a bit of cricket season coming up soon. And there's a bit of Test cricket's back at the moment, and there's a bit of one-day cricket happening. And if there's the thing I like the most is Australia beating the Poms. But if it's not us beating it, I love seeing the Irish beat them. They've come out in a one-dayer during the week, and the Poms have posted 330, or I think it was, 328. And the Irish have come out under opener Paul Sterling. Sterling's about 35, mid-30s. Played a bit of county cricket over there. Good bat. He's come out and flogged 142 off 128 balls. And they've got home with a ball to spare. And if there's anyone the Irish love beating, it is the Poms. It was a real Irish day. Owen Morgan, the English captain, who's actually Irish, he got 100 as well in the first innings. And then the Irish had come out. Another bloke got 100 as well. Was it? Bale Burney. Yeah, he got 100 as well, and they chased him down. I love seeing the Irish beat him. They beat him a few times now. They beat him in a World Cup game. Kevin O'Brien came out and hit 100 or 50 to beat him. And they beat him in a test match a year or two ago. And now they've come out and beat him in a one-day again. They love it, the Poms. I mean, the Irish, there would be Guinness flowing everywhere. So Yeah, it's good to say. It's just good for world cricket when you're getting these like the Irish and these teams that are competing with the top 10 cricket countries around the world. It's just good to see. It's good for the game. Up the Irish. Glove's got his shirt on for him tonight. He's got his Irish shirt on.
Luck of the Irish.
Yep.
Green Machine.
Paragon. Leprechauns.
He's in the green for him is money. So hundreds. So, righto, Stephen.
Green.
Gloves catch. What's on your mind this
week?
I
thought it was interesting the coaching merry-go-round that's on, and Todd Payton over. Basically, it was all signed, sealed, delivered if he wanted the job, but basically withdrew from the race there. Well, what he went on there, that whatever happened on NRL 360 earlier on, he sort of all but said he was doing it, but then jumped on and said, no, I'm not, and pulled out there. But it was interesting, and I think it's probably a good move from him, like a rookie coach taking on a nutcase club like that. And you see, like Dean Pay, he's just got the axe. He's on hiding to nothing. More than likely, they're going to go and struggle for 3 years, and that's his career. Well, basically, could be career over for Todd Payton in terms of being a head coach, or whether he bides his time as an assistant, looks for a better opportunity coming through there. And I just thought it was an interesting. I suppose, an interesting way that he's pulled himself from the running
of a job that he was going to get
to do that. Whether that was the reasoning behind it, and not to be involved with a club where he's probably going to win maybe they might win 30% of the games for the next 3 years, come in with a tough record, and he gets tarred with that brush sort of thing and makes it hard for him in moving forward. So he might be looking for bigger and better things, because all reports are he's a pretty handy coach. So
Cowboys
to knock it back. Yeah. Well, he did say he's pushing hard for that one. So
it's wild. So but no, it's a good point. There's probably a thing I'll talk about a bit later. But mine, I'll stick my head up here for the chance to get knocked off as a hypocrite. My say this week is applause to Darius Boyd. Now, I'm first to admit I was head of the queue saying he had to go. How's he in the team? Why do they keep picking him? And form justifiably so. And then they put him at fullback last week. He came out and he had a blinder. So, and I'm not just saying
Sharks reserve grade team.
Yeah, but he played outstanding in losing.
It is his best position.
So what my point is, if you let me finish, what my point is that the amount of pressure, I thought about thinking about it from his point of view. So he's a fullback. He's been a representative fullback. He's played for his states, played for his country at fullback. All of a sudden he's told, we don't want you to play fullback at the club. He's copped it. So we want you to play in the centres. He's copped it, and he's just gone and played there. They've stripped him of the captaincy. Every week they front him up to the media. He's not the captain. For some reason, he's the one that's out there dealing, with all of this stuff. And you haven't heard him whinge once, and I thought then all of a sudden, out of necessity, because another 4 blokes fell over or whatever else happened, he's decided, we'll throw him back at fullback. I just think you got to give credit to the bloke for, most others would just turn it up or get rid of it. But you got to say he's way performed last week, and now all of a sudden Seabold say, he'll play fullback for the rest of the year. So I get your point, Steve. They played a reserve grade mob. No, I don't dispute that. I agree with you 100%. But I just think for the narrative with what has been Darius Boyd's season and his last season of his career, what he's done with that club. And as I said, I'm probably a hypocrite like most people by saying, I was the first one saying he had to go. But gee, you saw a difference in how they played with him at fullback as opposed to him at left centre or wherever he was.
I don't think anyone's disputed what he can do in attack from fullback. He hits that back line well, and he's got that pass. He's always had that pass for the centre and the winger. Because when the team's going well, but it's on the back foot in his defence where he's had his issues as fullback. But, we probably wouldn't be talking so much about him. They should have won that game last week.
100%.
But they're just a team that doesn't know how to win at the moment. It's a clear team that doesn't know how to win, don't know how to put games away because of the pressure they've been under. So, he had a good game like last week. But it's more so, his defence is where he's going to have to show it, I think.
Well, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. But anyway, as I said, I just thought, again, as I said, from that point of view, there's a little bit of...
Hey, just quickly, you seen a bloke cop so much as he has in the last year in football?
That's what I mean. Like all his cop, he's almost been the. If Seabold wasn't there, if it's not Seabold's fault, it's Darius's fault. So he's sort of copped it on. As I said, like he's not even the captain yet. Who do you see? They seem to front the microphone up to after every game, and he's stood there and copped it, apologised or whatever they've had to do. You know what I mean? Like he basically could say, "Well, I'm not the captain. It's not my problem." Go talk to the skipper. Why are you asking me?
Who's Carrigan?
So yeah. So I mean, I think he's. Crofty. I don't even. Who is the captain?
Crofty.
Croft and Carrigan, joint, aren't they? Or
what sort of? See, I don't even know who the captain was. So
2 blokes that have played 30 games between them.
Yeah. So no. Anyway, as I said, credit where credit's due. I think Darius deserves a few bouquets instead of getting knives thrown at him this week. So anyway, we'll see how he performs this week. So that's a look at our soapbox on the semi-pros. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, our ITP Toowoomba Haines Wilson special guest Justin Anderson will be with us.
Hey guys, Cohen and Liam here from Haines Wilson, and today we're sitting with Steve from Paragon Homes and checking out the new display home at the Lees. Thanks for having us, mate.
No, mate, thanks for popping by.
Mate, I'm a big fan of Paragon. I love the stuff that you guys do. It's really unique and sort of like I find like with our clients, they get it designed to their specific needs. Every build's different. I'm loving it.
Yeah, mate, exactly right. And really, we wanted to give more to our clients. And the process that I used when I built our house and land packages went through, designed a brief around what we're trying to create within the home, the feel, how it needed to function, the purpose of the home, to bring together a home which really tries to target what you're trying to get at the end of the day and create a home that's more than just a couple of lines that's slapped on a plan, thrown on a block. Like there's so much you can do when you build a home and making sure you get that better result out of building a home at the end of the day. When you get the keys, you get that elation, you walk in the door, it's somewhere you just love to be.
Yeah, and it's just yours. It's totally different. Mate, love it. You're doing a good job, man. Really love it.
Very flash. Love it, mate.
Yeah.
Good work.
Well, there we go. Stephen, how'd you go with the ball?
Wasn't that house?
I've seen everything now. I've seen everything. Take me now. Oh, God.
How'd you go with the big fellas? Did you give them a good look around?
Mate, we were in and out. I'll tell you what, it was... I won't use that analogy, but it was very fast and very enjoyable and good guys. I'll tell you what, they got a bit of a following, bit of a cult following on the social media. Hayes Wilson boys, Liam and Cohen. So
yeah, good lads. Good lads.
They put me my old grey little grey patchy thing was put to shame. A bit like the old grey ghost that just got pop up here.
He is our Haines Wilson guest, Steve. I'll let you can introduce him.
The Silver Fox. What are you, the Aztecs captain? Did I hear on an interview?
I've been everything so far, mate. Owner, captain, bloody fastest bowler, everything it so far.
No, but here we do have Justin Anderson, the coach of the Aztecs, and I suppose Toowoomba cricket stalwart legend. One of those guys that are bridging the years and come back and making an appearance in the DDBBL as a coach. And, mate, you're back for your second year. What'd you pick up? What'd you learn? What's going to happen different from last year, apart from you probably made the really smart move of axing your captain?
Mate, to be honest, well, first of all, congratulations, Bubsy, on your engagement, big fella. Great to hear.
Thanks, buddy.
You look 10 years younger. You really do.
Thanks.
She's
So
bringing out
you just got to bring in his step.
You look 10 years younger too, Ando, with that rinse through your hair at the front there.
I just had a little bit of a bleach done the other day. Yeah.
Is it?
Grey bleach. No.
It looks like it.
No. That's what happens when she gets long, mate. I've got to need a bit of a cut.
Yeah, you don't have that problem.
So give the missus a big hug for us, mate. Well done.
I will. Thanks, buddy.
Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, no.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for axing me. Yep.
Mate, you might have done a Maisie on us. Maisie didn't put his nom down till very last minute last year. So I think you were doing the same, eh? You put your nom down last minute. We've got second pick of the night. It's looking good. He's a 400 pointer. He's good value, isn't he?
400 points.
I don't know if you want like a 400 point washed up old person.
I saw the way
Maybe.
you batted. I saw the way you batted in the Bulls Masters game against the Australian country team last year, mate, and it was just Troy of old. What'd you score? 45 off about 20 hits.
I don't know, mate. Got
It
lucky.
was pretty outstanding. I liked it.
Nicked a few through slips.
Off the middle, I thought.
Well, Ando, what's your thoughts this time around with the Aztecs? New captain? I'll tell you what, your owner, Dan Borrow, I reckon he threw a cat amongst the pigeons when he picked the Lockie Valley's prodigal son.
Yeah, when that happened, as the captains were getting picked, he looked at us and we had a little sneaky nod of it's now time to upset the apple cart. So it's good. We've had a couple of meetings with Alex, and he's a really good guy, and his head's in the right spot. He can't talk to you guys tonight because he's training. He's doing something different from every other captain, I think, at the moment. He's actually having a crack. He's just started training with Laidley. So, he will be good. So, we're looking forward to it.
Mate, and with Welshie coming in, I guess you'll be looking at getting a bit of a connection with the players down the range. So in that Gatton Laidley area plus into the Ipswich area, Welshie's got a wealth of knowledge of those guys.
Exactly right, Bubsy. He has. He's already put down 8 or 9 players that he's really keen to have around. Obviously, we're going to have to try and blend them in with who we think up here. But he's definitely got half a dozen key players that he's really keen. And I think it's a key point with our competition that you go into this with players that you just know their background and you know the way they play the game. It's nice to have that little that bloke left of field that we just don't know about yet, and he might come up on the admin or the actual the list here for nominations, saying how good they are, and they're the ones or two guys there that you may take as a risk, but I don't want to do that too much this year. We want to have a bit of an idea of the background of every single one of our boys if we can.
What did you pick up from last year, mate? You went for a pretty elderly roster.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, my way of thinking, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate, and that's why we're doing it all again. I love being back involved with Troy and Maisie. Those boys have played a massive amount of cricket as well as I have, just a little bit before them. We sort of crossed over a little bit at the end of my time. I had an eye injury in '99, which caused me to stop my career a little bit short, but I've tried to make a bit of a comeback at time when you have the likes of Joey Marsh and Tony Morris trying to make a comeback and try and help out the A-grade boys. But that was that side of it. But, mate, to be involved with those guys that have really put Toowoomba cricket on the map, and that was our push last year, to try and reward all the guys that had done their utmost to bring Toowoomba cricket to the forefront of where it is now. And we will probably pick a fair few younger guys this year. We're hoping to, but mate, we had a meeting last night and looking at our list, our average age is still up there just a little bit. So we might have to cull a few more, yeah.
Mate, and to be honest, like all teams were around the mark last year, weren't they? Like all games went down, most games went down to the wire, and coming down to the last round, all the teams were there to be to make the finals. With a bit of luck, it was Kent's dream last year, wasn't it? It just come out the right way where all the teams were competitive. Looking through the draft nominees, can you see it being a similar go this year? Pretty close competition?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I mean, us missing out on the finals last year come down to pretty much probably a couple of sneaky drop catches. And we probably didn't turn over the strike in maybe one of the games as well as we should have done. That was about it, really. The games, even though we did that, the games were only still within a couple of runs. So I can see it being close again, definitely. But I can see the boys that have come back from last year from other regions, hopefully, they're a year wiser with the way the pitches are played, but they're still going to be that little bit of uncertainty come the start of the season. We're early. We know what our pitches are like here. They can be a little bit low and slow. So it's going to be interesting to see.
So, mate, we've asked this to all of the teams or so that we've had involved now, as you said, you guys are quite high up when it comes to your selection in the player draft. Who do you think will be the most sought after players out there? Have you got an idea who you think may disappear one, or what's sort of your handful of players that you think that when we get our chance, this is who we're chasing, or who do you think will be the most sought after in that first round?
Yeah, like I said, we had a meeting last night, and we tried to. We think we've come down to premeditating everyone's first 2 picks, and that's, again, I could be wrong, but we reckon we've got everyone's first 2 picks, and we've got first pick of the second round. So our first 4 picks, and the way we are in the roster, we reckon we're sitting pretty good for getting hopefully the 4 that we want first up. Without giving much away, I mean, you can't turn your back on Harry Wood. He's just sensational. Young McGiffin, he's just missed out on the Heat squad last year or this year. I think Linny may not have wanted him there by the sounds of it. So he's a quality player. So how can you turn your back on either one of those 2?
Mm.
Do you think the Raptors boys will take Harry? I've got him at $1.01 to go to the Raptors.
Yeah, I don't think you could get any lower. If you could, you would. Yeah, I'm the same, mate. They might do a whole backflip on us too, and young Zachy Beveridge might have his say, and Collar McGiffin too. Who knows?
It'd be game man not to pick Harry at 1, I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because I reckon the team number 2 would be getting him.
Most definitely. We've looked at that option as well.
Yeah.
Didn't you turn your back on a Harry Wood there last year?
He was definitely spoken about, but that's what we're all about. And in the Aztecs, it's all a bit of give and take. So I think we made the right decision last year as well.
Are you surprised that he didn't get a contract this year, mate, with the Bulls?
I am a little bit, because I just thought he had an outstanding year last year. I'm really surprised. I mean, his brother Jack's an outstanding spinner and can hit. But what Harry's done over the last couple of years, it's not just last year. He has been really solid in Premier Grade for 3 or 4 years now. So I'm really surprised.
And the other bloke you spoke about, McGiffin, what's his background?
So he's Wes. We know he's. We've had a look at a few of his stats on My Cricket, but we see him as a batting all rounder. He can send them down. Probably not quite as sharp as Harry, but he's up there. And just I reckon he can play well. He's playing sort of 6 and 7, batting 6 and 7 in Brisbane, which means in the DDBBL up here, that's a 3 or 4 at least. So they reckon he's really handy. So his stats are pretty good.
The big question a lot asked last year was around that availability, wasn't it? And who was available when? And a few teams got caught out by that. So what is the situation with that this year? And do you think, you guys were pretty comfortable in that area, but some teams were really battling with numbers like that. So that's got to have an impact this year. And do we know the situation with Brizzy Cricket, where it'll sit and availability?
Yeah, so we believe the way it's looking at the moment, our double header, which is in week 3, so the round 4 and 5 for us, I believe, is the quarterfinals in Brisbane, and then their semi-finals are our grand final. Their semis. I think it's around our semis. So there is a bit of a crossover come those last couple of critical games. So it's pretty critical that you don't delve too much in what those Brisbane guys are going to impact on our team. You need to be pretty solid across the board, that's for sure.
Mate, tactically wise, you mentioned just a bit earlier about last year you got stuck there where you didn't rotate strike over, turn it over and keep the scoreboard ticking. Is that more of a tactic as opposed to going and find the big hitters, the ones that blast them out of the park, might come off every now and then, but to get that more consistency of sort of bread and butter cricketers that are able to do that?
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's a big part of, as we know, statistically in your T20 stuff, you just don't want to be facing dot balls. So we'll be emphasising pretty hard on guys to turn the strike over. So, if we can stop ourselves from facing too many dot balls, that's the whole key to it. So, and I mean, if you can get a big hitter at one end, mate, and he tees off and you've got some bloke to roll the strike around him, you're in for a big score. So, yeah, definitely.
And with what you guys did last year, how much was there a drive to make that finals? Everyone's competitive, obviously, and you guys have said missed out by the barest of. How much of a focus is this year's wanting to be able to go all the way?
Yeah, no, we're really focused on that. Even though we just missed out, it's all about pushing the Aidacare brand for Dan and the business too. They're the ones coughing up the money for it, so we want to promote their business as much as possible. So we'll do whatever we can to do our best to make those finals. That's for sure.
Hey, mate, out of the squad you had last year, going through that nomination list, is there any of the boys that aren't backing up that you had last year?
Yeah, mate, at the moment, mate, we've got 2 players that played in our squad last year that have nominated. 2 out of the 14, sorry.
Jeez, they must have loved it, eh?
I think it was the mental coach that's turned them off.
Yeah, did he get a start again?
We've broken them.
So who's in there? Who's?
Yeah, so Benny O and young Braden. They're the 2 that have nominated. Braden from Diggers and Benny O from the Gold Coast. So, Benny O was one of the top tier batsmen, top tier scorers last year. So, we'd definitely like to have him back. That'd be nice. He's a good bat, that bloke.
Yeah, it's an
interesting stat. 2 players from last
year,
isn't it? So Troy will make it 3 by tonight.
You might get a late flurry tomorrow. You might have 10 nominate tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, that's so we're holding off in the last minute to see all the noms, and then we'll have another meeting next week to put together a bit of a final couple of options. And
how many nominations? How many nominations is there at the moment, mate?
I think there's around 140, mate.
Yeah.
What was there last year? 160, 150?
168 or something, nearly 170, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah.
How does the standard look to compare sort of the talent pool
from last year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely good to see a couple of the Queensland country rep boys nominating, but you got young Carroll, who I spoke to quite a few weeks ago. He's out with rugby. Who knows? He could be playing for the Rebels or something down the track. He's just such a talented young sportsman. Young Guesty that was in our team last year. He's overseas somewhere, I think, or he's out of the. I don't know. He was. I heard he's out of the country a while ago. So, but he's had a kid. Simon Blood. Don't know where he is. I think he's down the coast or Brisbane somewhere. Most of the boys, I think, are just busy. It's a shame they haven't re-nominated, really. So, and I think the Lightning boys said they had half a dozen missing or haven't nominated from last year. So the numbers are up there.
Ken Reamer's just made through 155 noms at the moment. And I think one of the interesting ones you talked about before, how many from your squad from last year that haven't re-nominated. So that means the inaugural number 1 pick, Brian May, is yet to nominate. Is he going to, or what's the word?
I did have a word with him at his workplace a couple of weeks ago, and he's fighting a couple of little niggling injuries, he says. So I did put the hard word on him to make sure he puts his name down. So, yeah. And I've spoken to him. So.
I was talking to him and I was thinking he was erring on the side of not playing.
Yeah, that's the feeling I got too, mate.
Yeah.
But mate, he's
shortly. We might ask him. We'll put the pressure on his employers, see if what they say.
Yeah.
They might be able to tell her.
He's done his service to Toowoomba cricket, the big fella. He really has. He can leave the game knowing he can't do any more in this local area, really, with Toowoomba cricket. He's been a fantastic stalwart for our local cricket comp.
Mate, on a personal note, outside the DDBBL, your coaching career sort of headed down the path of the ladies' cricket down the Ipswich Hornets. And now, mate, we're seeing a few of those girls that have come through. Sort of, you took them down, those really young teenage girls, put them into that environment. Now, a couple are kicking on into the Queensland fire. So they've basically made it to that elite level within the domestic competition. That's got to be a bit of a feather in the cap, or a pat on the back to yourself for ultimately having careers like that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's a real joy to see the girls making that level. I spent 4 years down there. The girls obviously started off in their group down at second grade. They've spent a couple of years playing second grade and worked their way into a first grade comp. Mate, they've scored some good runs, had some fantastic afternoons with the ball. There's a couple of girls, young Georgia Vol and young Ellie Johnson. So they're fantastic country girls. Georgia's living down in Brisbane with her parents at the moment, and Ellie's still tracking from Whitcott down. I've rung them both since they've been given the heads up on their contract, and can thoroughly congratulate them. So it's been fantastic to see those girls take that big step. And the world's their oyster now. They're young girls. They should nothing should scare them at all. They've got the talent to be in that first class arena in Australia, and let's hope there's a couple more.
It's a pretty exciting time with a number of those girls coming through. As you said, and we look forward to watching that pathway as they continue. And obviously the mark that you've left on their careers and giving them that opportunity is I suppose what we love to see from a local sporting point of view. Great to see you involved with the Aztecs now as well. You've got a big job coming up. So the draft next week. So for those who were saying again, so Kent Ream was telling us before, so they can only have 200. So with the restrictions, they can only have 200 in the venue there next Friday night. So make sure you, as you said, first in, best dressed when it comes to those numbers. Otherwise, you'll be able to watch it via the live stream, of course. So plenty of ways to tune into it. And for players that are interested, draft close nominations, Steve, close Friday. So tonight, Thursday night, you'll be on there to fill out your nominations. There are a few important dates coming up. But Andy, I really appreciate you joining us on the show. All the best with the Aztecs in the upcoming DDBBL.
Thanks, boys. Thank you very much for your time.
That's Justin Anderson joining us from the Aidacare Aztecs. We'll take a break. After the break, we're heading out to the Southern Hotel.
At the Southern Hotel, our Sunday steak special has been so popular, we want to offer it on Saturday too. 180-gram rump mignon, 400-gram New York cut T-bone, or a huge 500-gram grain-fed rump, all for just $23.95. It's better at the Southern.
We're now heading out to the Southern Hotel. Shane Moggs back. How are you?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, where are you?
Mate, I'm sitting outside. I did the beer lines today, so I thought I'd come in and just test them.
That's good.
And I tell you what,
everything under control then?
Clean beer. Yeah, no, it's good, mate. Things are going well here at the Southern. Obviously, people have adapted to the new sitting down laws in place by Queensland Health. And look, everyone's still having a good time. We're still rocking the live music and all the sports. So obviously, UFC this Sunday and next Sunday. Got the Tim Zoo and Horn fight coming up. So plenty of exciting things happening.
Awesome. So plenty happening on the big screen there. That's why it is the home for live sport. So this weekend, all the footy, everything as well on the big screens. If people want to come out and get a bit of atmosphere at sport.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, certainly. We've got the big sound system going, and there's a couple of good games this weekend too. So a few I've had to toss a coin for to try and pick the winner. I know that the Penrith Raiders game is going to be a tough one, so looking forward to seeing that. And I think the Newcastle game will be another close one.
Yeah, we look forward to those. Now, speaking of local sport, so last week on the big screens you had the O'Callaghan Cup. So Grammar Downlands, of course, we know a little bit different this year. How did that go?
Mate, it went really well. We got a fairly good crowd in for it. Unfortunately, we were sort of a fairly pro downlands crowd, so it wasn't a real good result for most of the pub. But look, mate, it was well received. I know a few other venues in town did it and got some crowds too. So it's good to see that local people getting behind local sports in different ways throughout the COVID transition into getting spectators back.
Yeah, and I thought it was fantastic to see local venues like yourselves showing a local game that people couldn't go to. So it was really, really good. Now, people want to come out for a feed this weekend. The chefs are cooking up all sorts of things at the Southern and different parts of the restaurant. What can you recommend for us this week? What should we come in and try?
I tell you what, mate. I had the lamb pappardelle pasta for lunch today, and if you want a nice warm dish over a cold, hopefully wet weekend with the rain coming, the lamb pappardelle pasta, get around that. That is fantastic.
All right, so we'll pop out and try that over the weekend. Moggy, as always, appreciate your time. Have a good time this weekend at the Southern.
Cheers, and have a quick look at Sandown Race 5 Dog 5. I got a message for that one this morning tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
On the dogs.
Oh, jeez, you're not bad, mate.
I was as surprised as you were when I said that, but I got a message this morning saying that it might go all right over the distance race, so we'll see.
Sandown Race, when's that? Tonight?
Tonight.
Good pennies for the weekend. You beauty.
They get us a bit for the weekend. Sandown Race. Right. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one, boys.
See you, mate.
J-Mog joining us there. So that's his take on what's happening out there at the Southern Hotel, Sandown. We're on the dishies. Southern Hotel shot clock. Plenty of reasons to head out to the Southern Hotel. And it was great last weekend with the local footy on the screen. We know they could only have a limited crowd up there, so to have it featured in some of the pubs and clubs like the Southern Hotel is fantastic. Southern Hotel shot clock, boys. Topic I want to talk about this week and on the shot clock. Cameron Smith, interesting situation, playing marvellous again at the moment. He's missing a few games at the moment now due to injury, which has also been rare. So the situation they've got at Melbourne, obviously you've got Smith, who's stalwart of the game, going great guns, etc., etc. Harry Grant, as we know, is on loan to the West Tigers. So if Smith goes around next year, Grant can play again for them. And then they've also got Brandon Smith in the wings as well, who's a first-grade hooker. So they've got three pretty quality first-grade hookers there. One that's right near the obviously the end of his career, and two that are just starting. We don't know what Cameron Smith's going to do. He hasn't announced yet what his intentions are for next season. The only thing he sort of said was that he'd make his decision in a few weeks. That was a few weeks ago, so nothing at the moment. So it's an interesting situation. What do you do if you're Melbourne? How is this situation affecting them long term? What do you do with Cameron? There was even talk, Bubs, from the Broncos. They were talking about Brisbane trying to poach him for a year and things like that, and that would help solve the dilemma for Melbourne. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you think Melbourne should do? Well, they let Cameron play for as long as he wants, I suppose. Yeah. So what's it do to the other guys? Do you lose one of those guys in the interim?
Oh, you've got to try and manipulate their positions a bit, I suppose, and get them in, haven't you? Like Harry Grant, he's too good not to be playing. The other bloke, Brandon Smith, you can play him as a lock these days. The way the game's played, he can play that lock position, but. You can even get Smith playing a bit in the halves. You seen him play the halves a couple of weeks ago?
But the problem is with that. The only thing I'll say on that, I think that's what they sort of tried. Remember they tried that a few weeks ago, and in the end, he's just he's so good at hooker. He just controls everything from hooker. He's got to play on.
I don't think it'll make any difference because I think he'll retire this year. Yeah, I don't know. I just got a feeling. I think he'll go this year. Gone.
Well, problem solved.
It'd be good to see him finish on the way he is too. Like, you don't want to see him be like a Thurston, who's such a good player, and he went that 1 year too long, and he should have retired. It'd be good to see him finish on top like he is. Like he's, as you said before, he's playing as good as he's ever played. It's good to see those blokes not go on the downhill slide, go while they're on top. So, yeah, I think he'll go. I think he'll go this year.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Steve?
I'm probably leaning towards the same. I think he'd probably retire, and I reckon whatever he's going to do, I reckon the Storm know now.
And that's the other interesting
Yeah, in-house, they'd know. He would have let them know, or they'd know which way he's leaning. If he's 70% retired, 30 playing on, they'd know exactly where he sits. They've got that relationship with him and Bellamy where they just let him know how it is without anyone leaking it out there. So in terms of sort of what they've got coming through, like they did it pretty smart. Like Harry Grant, they've obviously had a succession plan in place there where they've said, mate, we'll give you a loan and getting some NRL experience instead of running around. As it turns out, he would have been playing any footy, but to get him out there, get him some NRL experience, and like he's already established himself as going to be an elite hooker within the game. So they've done it pretty smart, I think, and well, I don't know, what is he, 37? He's so much as me, 37, 38. I couldn't imagine running around.
DDBBL.
Let alone an NRL an NRL game. So
and dominating.
Playing that, like the bloke is an absolute phenomenon on the field. Like what he does, and he's that smart. Just understand, he's 3 steps ahead of the game, sort of where he needs to be, and he's incredible. And I know there's a few that have been out there. He's now right in that mix for the greatest player to ever play the game, and he has to be looking at stats wise and longevity and just that full package. May not be the flashiest guy getting out there, but in terms of getting it done, he really is incredible. I think it might be his last year, especially if they give it a good shake, which at the moment, there's 3 teams, I think, which are, or maybe 4 if you throw in Para, that are like they've got it between them, they've got it bundled up, so they're going to be there and have an opportunity to give him that send-off, and if he gets that, I'd say that'd be curtains for sure.
Who's the 4?
Penrith Roosters, Para, and
Melbourne.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how his body's held up? Well, the amount of games he's played. I know, as you said, Steve, he's smart. Like he injects himself in and out of games so well. But to play that many games, I remember him getting a little ankle injury a couple of years ago. He's out for about 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember him getting injured other than that.
No, they talked about the amount of games that he's missed the other day. I saw a stat on that. It was something ridiculous. So, as you said, it's not just the accolades, what he's done. It's the longevity that he's had in the game. And he's playing in a very physical position. I know anywhere you play in rugby league, say it's such a physical game, but out of dummy half, the amount of tackles he makes. But it was actually interesting. I was listening to something Paul Gallen said the other day, and he sort of spoke about how he's sort of like what Steve said before about how smart he is, meaning that he only runs a lot in big games. He's not a guy that puts everything into every tackle. So he won't miss tackles, but it's not like he just knows how to preserve himself. Like he kicks goals as well. Like look at some of those other guys that you've got out there that are playing in different positions, and it might be a good comparison. But look at like a Tom Trbojevic. Like he's just always injured. Matt Moylan, like they're forever doing hamstrings and things like this. What do they do different to him?
The old story, the old bull and the young bull.
But I mean, even when he was younger, he wasn't injured. Like,
yeah, exactly. But no, just that attitude. We'll just sprint down there and grab one and give it a go. Or how about we just wander down there and we'll do them all? Sort of
take it at 80%, and he conserves his energy so well, doesn't he? Especially these days. Like, but mind you, back in the day, he was making 40, 50 tackles every week. He doesn't do that these days, but he did it for 10 or 15 years.
And as I said, like, kicking in general play, kicking goals, like all of those sort of little things that obviously just
talking to the referees.
It's not, he's the best. Kicking goals.
He's the best. I've said that. He is the best at talking to them. Him and Wally Lewis, I think, are the best two I've ever seen at manipulate referees. He's an absolute genius at it. Referees don't even realise what he's doing. He is so good. And you can see the commentators see what he's doing, and the other team sees what he's doing. The referees haven't got a clue. Like
So what's his future? Say you both are saying he retires this year. What's the future hold? Is he a coach? He might get the job at the Cowboys.
You'd want him as your football manager, wouldn't you? Melbourne, you'd want Melbourne and want him as their football manager for sure. So,
he'd have to be,
but who knows? He's got family back in Brisbane too.
So if you're the Broncos and you had the chance to pay him $1 million for 1 year, would you?
Yep.
Even though you're only going to get 1 year?
Yep. Pay 1.1 for half a season there.
I don't think it solves their issues.
No, but if you can get him in for a season and then get him into like a football management role, it'd be a smart move because he's just going to attract players and he can bring that right culture to the club with what he's done with Melbourne over the last 15 odd years. So
I just think it'll be interesting just as I said, if he plays on, and the other likely scenario is if they lose one of them, do they lose, say, a Brandon Smith, say, to the West Tigers? And they sort of talked about the link there because Smith obviously plays for the Kiwis. He was a Kiwi hooker. Brandon Smith we're talking about was the Kiwi hooker last year. Maguire's the Kiwi coach. There's a bit of a link there, obviously. And, if he, again, Harry Grant's an 80-minute hooker. Smith, I know what you mean, is versatile, Brandon, but I'm sure he probably, if you say most effective, he wants to play 9. Cameron Smith, as I said, you could play him. You could play him anywhere. You could play him halfback, you could play him whatever position, he'd be effective. But I think we saw, I forget which game it was now, was when he wasn't in the game. He was playing halfback, and Brandon Smith was playing 9, and everything was going all right. But then as soon as they switched him to dummy half, everything changed.
If you've got the best hooker in the game, you don't play him at halfback.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what I mean. So they're not going to re-sign him. He's not going to run around again next year and play 7.
No.
He'll be running around the Bahamas next year.
What do you reckon he'll up to?
Hey?
What do you reckon he'll do?
I've no idea. I reckon he'll play on, actually. I reckon he'll play on. Or what do you do? If you win the comp, do you say that'll do?
Oh, you nearly would, wouldn't you?
They
won the comp now.
I know there's the innuendo and rumour of why all of a sudden just overnight he canned Origin. Did he just know? He might do the same. Is he, with all of this, I'll make my mind up in a couple of weeks. Surely, for what he's done in the game and for Melbourne, you have to just go, whenever you, as you said, Stevie, they've probably got an inkling already, but it'd just be whenever you're ready, so be it. Tell us. In, out, we'll work the rest out later. He probably earned that position.
How many games he played now? 401.
I don't think it'll be a record that'll be beaten, will it?
Can he get 450? If he plays next year, he get 450?
Probably.
But how about when Lockyer played 350 something? Everyone said, "Geez, you're doing well to break that record." He's going to beat it by.
And that's what I mean. How look what he's able to do. How can you say you can't on form say, "Oh, you probably should give it away." He's playing. He's just playing outstanding. Year in, year out.
All those great players leave on their own terms, but don't they?
True.
They play it all when they want to finish up.
Yeah.
And he's, as Steve said before, he's probably, if not the greatest, he's in the top 1 or top 3, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So, he's done his time. He's whenever he decides to pull them up, but it's been a pretty incredible ride. And if he was available, obviously he'd still be first bloke pick for Queensland, Australia, wouldn't he?
But there's one for you. Who would Queensland pick as their hooker this year? Would Harry Grant
Ben Hunt last
Smokey?
year?
Yeah, Ben Hunt last year. Would Harry Grant be a Smokey to get a crack at it? Or?
Have to be. What do you reckon?
He's leading the Dally M still, is he?
Well, if he's not leading it, he's in the top.
I think he was the other day. He's leading. Yeah. But what other options is there?
Well,
What's
as
his
I said,
name
Ben
for the
Hunt.
Roosters?
Ben Hunt was there last year and did really well, actually.
Ben Hunt was there, but Friend would have played if he was available, I would have thought.
Yeah, Friend, you've got Reid Marnie, you've got Jake Turpin. McCulloch obviously won't be there.
Pretty out of 2, isn't it?
It's been done for a while. But Ben Hunt did I reckon they'll pick Ben Hunt. He did the job last year and did it well.
He's finally found his spot.
Yeah, but he's playing 6 this weekend.
Yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
Tonight.
McInnes is back to 9 and they got rid of Corey Norman and Ben Hunt's playing 6.
Oh, God.
The young halfback's back. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, look, what I might do on the show now in lieu of time, we might go straight into our Hogans Family Jewelers Rocks and Diamonds. So, just skip straight through power on here. Hogans Family Jewelers Rocks and Diamonds. Thanks to Lockie Hogan and the team from Hogans Family Jewelers. Ran into Lockie Hogan and his dad actually a little while ago. So if you need any of your jewellery needs, just pop in and see the team there. They will most certainly look after you in that regard. Rocks and Diamonds, best and worsts of the week. Troy, do you want to kick us off with the Rock of the Week?
Rock of the Week. Yeah, my Rock of the Week's Usain Bolt. He's come out during the week and said he didn't get a fair chance at the Central Coast Mariners. He's got to be kidding himself, Usain, hasn't he? Like, have they got to give? Do they have to give a bloke a go that's got 2 left feet? Like, really? You're a runner, mate. You're not a football player, soccer player. He was pretty ordinary in his bit of a trial that he got, and to say he didn't get a fair chance, or he got a fair crack at it. Again, give him a fair bit of time to come through the system, give him a few trial games and whatnot. Yeah, you're a runner, mate. Stick to running very fast.
You could probably argue that he got more of a go than he deserved because he's Usain Bolt, and obviously it was a fantastic publicity tool.
Exactly. Yeah. So, to say he didn't get a crack is a bit ordinary, I would have thought. So, yeah, Usain, he can be my Rock of the Week.
Might get another chance somewhere else. Steve, what are you running with? What's your stone of the week?
What are you running with? That's
what am I running with? Oh, would you like go to me?
Yeah. I'm just very interested to hear what you're running with. I've got something
I bet you are.
Deserves to run last.
You've been anticipating this and waiting all along to see what I'd come up with. Now, mine's pretty boring, but I find it quite interesting that this week we've got the return of the derby in terms of the hatred coaches, Seibold and Bennett, and just I know it's all probably maybe it's not for show, but just have you seen some of the stories in the lead up to it and talking about Wayne sabotaged this and he spoke to Damien Cook, and then Seibold, when he was the coach, was rang up and tried to change their, training camps, this and that, just the crap that's going on about the coaching. Then Wayne adds another layer to it. He mightn't even get here actually because he's breached the COVID rules by going out to dinner with his partner somewhere or another that was outside of wherever they can go. So he mightn't even actually get to the game in the end now as a result of that. But I just kind of find the whole saga, it just keeps getting dragged up over and over again. I know it was quite an ugly and a bitter split, but I mean, you've got 2 clubs of players there and that are running around that are pretty desperate to win. The Broncos, for obvious reasons, for their own pride and to get things going. You got Fafita back this week. And then Souths, obviously, they're just fighting to make the finals. And all we're talking about is Seibold versus Wayne and all the saga that came with it. And I just it was a bit much for me. I just thought it was all. Anyway, good luck to him. But yeah, I suppose it's a headline that we're going to get brought up every single time Brisbane plays Souths or Seibold, wherever he ends up coaching next, or if he ends up coaching anywhere next, and Wayne, anytime that they come up against each other. And also, did you see it brought up the bit of feud, whatever they said, like when you talk about fallouts and the element that's occurred from this, you've got, I don't know if you guys saw it as well. The other addition to it was you got Darren Lockyer, champion player. Obviously, Wayne Bennett was obviously his coach for such a long period of time. Now, obviously, you see Lockyer that's on a part of the board, and then you hear that they don't even speak anymore. So, the successful tenure they had as player and coach at a lot of levels for a long, long period of time. And they don't even speak. So I just think I make that the Rock of the Week, just the fallout that's occurred as a result of the Wayne Bennett split with the Broncos and just where it's probably ended up taking it and how it sort of dominated headlines as opposed to the footy. There you go. Give you enough time, Steve?
Yeah, no, I did. That was good. I'd actually had this one build up for a while. But and you did mention it there with Wayne and the possibility of not being able to come up here too. So, like Dragons forward, Paul Vaughan, he's in self-isolation here for 2 weeks, so can't play, can't do anything. And because of those COVID breaches that they're doing, and just like the NRL, the players in general, like with all the situation that's heightening up again down south, like they've just they're privileged to be able to do what they do, travel around and making their income at a point in time when there's a lot of people that are battling, especially down in New South Wales and Victoria, and these blokes just go out and blatantly breach it. Paul Vaughan went out for a feed at a hotel in Illawarra So he's unable to go and travel with the team, and now he's self-isolating. Like it's not only putting his own future there. Well, he's got 2 weeks with it off, but someone in the NRL catches it, or someone within any professional, like the AFL, the soccer, or whatever, cop it and it runs through. That's it. She's shut down. She's game over. Ruins it for everybody, and not just the players there. It's all the fans that have finally got something to go with. It basically stuffs it for everyone. So yeah, like for the little. And I know they're in the spotlight and they get all that, but they get compensated well for that. But for the sake of going out for breakfast and that sort of thing, like surely you've got to pull your head in a little bit there, Paul Warren, and stick to what you have to do. It might be tough measures, but that's the way it is. So yeah,
I agree with you. Isn't it amazing? As you said, with the ripple effect, the ramifications that could have. As you said, it's not just what people are dying as a result of this, and all sorts of things that are happening.
Oh, yeah. I think we were pretty lucky. Like initially they jumped on it and Australia didn't get that heavy hit, but now it's starting to see people daily there's nearly double figures dying down there. Like it's serious, and we were probably a bit lax because we didn't cop it like the rest of the world had at that first point. But yeah, she's pretty serious stuff, I suppose.
Stupidity comes down to this. He said for all of that, wake up to yourself. Well done. Diamond of the week, best of the best. Troy? What do you got for us? What's your Hogans Family Jewelers Diamond of the week this week?
NBA's back.
The second one for the week.
NBA, exactly, Steve. Good observation. The NBA's back, and the other day, Devin Booker. Devin Booker's his game winner against the Clippers. The turnaround, wasn't it? The turnaround spin fadeaway on the buzzer over Kawhi, and who else was there?
Several.
There's a couple of blokes hand in the face. Yeah, it was just a great shot, and good to see NBA. Good to see the NBA back, and Devin Booker putting up some good numbers again too. So yeah,
have you watched much of it? Have you guys watched much of the NBA?
I haven't. I've just seen some highlights, pretty much. But yeah,
it's actually interesting. I've just, when I've had meetings at home or something, I've been able to watch a little bit, and I watched some today, and I was thinking about this, pondering this thought sort of. So with the process they're going through at the moment, so there's only a couple of teams that really have something to play for, so to speak. So the 8th seed in the West is obviously the biggest prize up for grabs at the moment. The East's done. It was always done before they even came in. So realistically, they're just playing trial games. So you had the biggest losers out of this situation has been Memphis. So they were the 8th seed. They were holding the 8th seed. They've gone 0-4 since we've gone into the bubble. So they're in all sorts. So you've now got Portland, you've got New Orleans, you've got San Antonio, you've got all these teams snapping at their heels. But point I was making, I go back to, I watched the Lakers play Oklahoma City today. The Lakers have guaranteed number 1 seed. They've done they're obviously just, I suppose, filling in time so you get to the playoffs. But they were woeful. LeBron was woeful. They got pumped. Like Chris Paul was unbelievable. Just put on a clinic for them today. It was actually pretty to watch. So you know what I mean? Like I just don't know where it sits in terms of those teams. They haven't got a lot to play for, just sort of going through the motions, or the different beast when you get to playoffs. But I tell you, there's, based on the couple of bits and pieces I've seen, it's pity Joel's not on with us tonight, but the Lakers, I was one, again, that was pumping their tyres up saying that I think they'd win it. They've got some serious issues, because if you watch today, LeBron and Davis are going to do what they're going to do, but they don't have, we know in this league, you need a third option, a consistent third option. They were just terrible. They just had no one else that could do anything, and they just looked terrible.
And you can't be filling time in this season. Like, you need to get rolling at the back end to go into the playoffs because it's been such a long break. You need to actually go in with a bit of momentum. You can't, like in past years, teams will coast the last, 10 games, get through to playoffs and then ramp it up again, where you've probably got to be ramping it up before playoffs now because of the layoff. So,
but they were poor today. So
who's your team? Who's your pick?
I don't know. I'm half back on probably stealing G's thunder here. Look, Milwaukee look pretty good. And again, I know we always talk about the softer side of the draw. They're still going to get the softer run through to, if they can get through the East, obviously, and that's still got to do that. Philadelphia's fallen to pieces. Philly's fallen to pieces. Ben Simmons did his knee today. They're in trouble. Boston's going well. They'll have to get through them, obviously. There's a couple of other teams in there also, but just but the West's going to be pretty tough. Like the Clippers are still going to be somewhere thereabouts as well, but I think there's a few worrying signs for the Lakers. So anyway, now McCull's Milwaukee. I never would have thought I'd say that, but I reckon Milwaukee will win it. You've always been on that bandwagon, Steve.
Yeah,
not bandwagon.
I don't have a clue since it started back up. I haven't looked at it. I was playing, so the bubble. I did see the big animated screen they have with a bit of crowd and like down that one side of the court. A few bucks involved in that, no doubt. But
absolutely. And if anyone would have seen on our page, I shared a video today to just share older Aussie Joe Ingles. We all love him. He was awesome today. He scored 25 points, about 15 of them or so in the fourth quarter. If you look on the semi-pros page, I shared a video of there, again, typical Aussie Joe things that he does. He just sort of went and put his arms in the huddle of whoever they played today. So he was in the huddle with them there while they're talking about obviously what they're going to do. He just walked up, put his arms around a couple of the players and just joined in their huddle. It's well worth a look. So Aussie Joe doing Aussie Joe things. So, but anyway, so your diamond was the NBA.
Booker.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker's game winner. Yeah.
And they're actually I think they're undefeated since in the bubble as well. So they're one of the other teams fighting for that 8th spot. So I suppose from a promoter's point of view, that battle for the 8th spot, the NBA couldn't have asked for any more. But just some of the other games, like I said, it was like watching a preseason game today. The Lakers and OKC, like OKC even, because they didn't have to, they just did what they had to do. Said Chris Paul just had it on a string, and they just. Yeah, the Lakers never even looked in it, to be honest. They get within 10 and whatever. As Joel said, Bucks versus Clippers final. Yeah,
did you see the Bucks? The Bucks were the shortest price favourites in something like 20-odd years to lose. Yesterday, I think it was. They lost to the Nets. So they were $1.01. They lost.
Oh, really? Yeah, so beat them. Yeah, so. But I'm with Mr. Seavey. Put up there, Bucks and Clippers final. I reckon that's who will be. So, but yeah, no, good. Nomination there for Diamond of the Week. I'm rolling with. Did anybody see this? This is a bit left field, obviously. I think that got a video of this here. So this went viral. This is some real skill. Have a look at this, right? So she's got a glass of milk on her head. So this is 5-time Olympic gold medalist Katie Ledecky. So 23-year-old swimmer. So she goes the length. A cup of milk on her head here. Doesn't drop. Does not make one the whole way. She's on five odd Olympic medals, as I said, and things like that. So, but this is obviously a career highlight here. So, to be able to do this and get to the end, so full swim lap of it, and then she gets to the end and has a swig of it as well. So, making the most of the ISO time, not been able to compete. So she's see, there you go. Look at that. Got through it. Didn't drop a bit, and away you go.
Looks like Milo.
No?
Looks like it had a bit of Milo mixed into it too.
Might have been, mate. Might have been, but she didn't spill any. Give it a go. You should give it a go. Jump in the pool.
Give it a go. Wouldn't want to do the lap to start with, let alone put a glass of milk on your head. Jeez. What not smart to do that? Put a glass thinking, I might do a lap tomorrow with a glass of milk on my head.
Apparently it's just, it's a hashtag got milk challenge.
Oh, the new challenge. You'll be doing it, won't you, James?
No. So swims the length of the pool, balancing a cup of chocolate milk. There you go. So chocolate milk.
Got an eye. Got a keen eye for a bit of a flavoured milk.
Clearly. Anyway, Katie Ledecky's my Hogans Family Jewelers Diamond of the Week. Winners, something, anything.
Oh,
anyone got a winner this weekend? I don't think I can come up with one this weekend. I will, though, but tough going. Who's got a winner? Anywhere besides the Sandown Dogs.
Yeah, I got one. I'm going to go Doomben, race 4, number 5, Ferry Me Home. The Waller trained horse, $5.50 at the moment. Open up at 8s. People are snapping it up at the moment. What's it done at the track? 2 for a second. Distance 7 for a win in the 5 places. So Yeah, $5.50. I think there's a shorty in that. I think there's a $2 favourite in there. Yeah, Rios is $2.10, but I'm going to have a couple on ferrying me home.
Is Kenny Glover's hard to Kenny Glover's hard to he's hard to please. He said she didn't even do a tumble turn.
Kenny would have for sure.
Yeah, you try being his son.
Tough gig, mate, eh?
Oh, nah, it's been pretty good.
You got a winner for us then? Or are you going to ask Kenny?
Should ask Kenny, but
have a few.
Be scratching there. Yeah, no, Brisbane race 5, number 2, top prospect, Chris Lee's Aussie blood stock. Second last start, barrier 3, suck run, should win. Likes the wet if we get a bit there tomorrow, so we'll go with that.
Righto. I'll stick in Melbourne as they've been in recent times. We'll go then the Ori Star. So it's race 6. Keen on, this is a money sucker, this horse. But anyway, number 2, Home of the Brave. Up the straight, read an article today with James Cummings saying it's his best straight track horse, etc., and all that sort of stuff. And there's a few there resuming or first up and stuff. This thing is as well, obviously. But trialled up good, flies up the straight. Was only just beaten in this race at a decent price, I don't know, a couple of years ago or last year or something. Voodoo lad rolled it right on the peg. So let it fly. Oliver on board, the old blue jacket straight to the front, and hopefully keeps improving from there. So that's my diamond. That's my hopefully my winner of the week there for Hogan's Family Jewelers. Rightos. Couple of things. What's on this weekend? Bob's, a bit of indoor cricket happening.
Yeah. The NICL boys are playing this weekend. They've played. They've come out of COVID and they've had 4 games now. So they've won 3 out of 4. They're not looking too bad. They're at home this weekend against the Victoria Point Vipers, 6:30 out there at the Spencer Street Stadium. So yeah, if you can get out and have a bit of a look, you have some of the Queensland's best playing out there. So yeah, the indoor boys are back into it. Lyle Teskey and his crew.
Plenty of humour there from Kenny as well. Back Ruth's boy midweek, came second naturally.
Have a look at the picture of Ken there. He's very clean shaven. Yeah, there he is. Look at him. Last time I saw him, he had this dodgy grey goatee or something, wasn't it, Steve?
He's still got the dodgy grey goatee, but yeah. Actually, speaking of profile pics, was Kent Reams wearing a lobster mask when he came up before? Look at him. Stand a bit further away from the fire, Ken.
Lobster mask.
Look, anything else on this weekend worthy mention? Actually, I will just chuck in a quick plug as well. The Saints semi-pros basketball team got back to 500 after a pretty ordinary start to the basketball season. 0-2, 2-2 now. So flying, coming good. 2-2.
Shoot a few 3 balls, mate. You're on top of the ladder, top of the statistics.
I don't think so.
You should put a couple of links up on the page to the Glory League highlights, so everybody can enjoy what is C-grade basketball.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be. There's not much, you're right, Steve. Actually, there's not much live sport on at the moment. Might be worth throwing up there.
Maybe they'll rip that down on the big screen at the Southern there for the local.
Wouldn't that be a delight?
Just showing all of the local fixtures, sort of the C grade, just playing right through to 10. That'd be good watching, wouldn't it? God, it's actually they did people a favour when they said they couldn't get a crowd to most of the games, to be honest. So it worked out quite well. So, but actually, the Mountaineers actually start their QSL campaign this weekend.
I'll tell you what, that is going to be some sort of competition. There's some red hot teams getting around in that.
Did you see the team list for Spartans the other day?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're one of Capitals, I think. That'll be worth getting. I don't know if they can do crowds. Are they doing crowds out there or not? But definitely some of those teams that have got, they're nearly NBL caliber rosters of youngsters coming through. So
absolutely, mate. Before we finish up, I'll just keep talking about that. I'll just look it up, because I'm sure I saw just on Toowoomba Basketball, they were just sort of speaking about the game, and that there are numbers allowed at it, but there are a limited number, so you had to
because they'll be playing out at St Mary's Stadium.
Yes,
Just
looking it up.
Clive Berghoff Arena or out there.
So this Saturday 5:30 is the Mountaineers versus Sunshine Coast Phoenix. Okay, so Saturday the 8th of August, Toowoomba Mountaineers begin the 2020 QSL season. So they host the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. So QSL 2 men tip off at 4, QSL women tip off at 6, and the QSL 1 men tip off at 8. Due to COVID restrictions, seating is limited and you must book online to secure entry. So that's at St Mary's. So you can jump onto the Toowoomba Basketball Facebook page if you want to go and support the Mountaineers. So Saturday night, or starting Saturday afternoon, 4, 6 and 8, 3 teams going around in the QSL. So round 1 up against the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. So that's all happening there. So you can get out and support the Mountaineers. So they kick off the QSL this weekend. And as Steve said, it really will be a competition worth going and seeing. There's some really, really talented players going around in the QSL this year. As we know, no QBL or NBL 1 as it's called now this season. So plenty happening there. So you can get out and support the Nears that way. So that's happening this weekend or Saturday night. Any other local sport that's happening, get out and support local sport. Great to see junior sport back up and running, of course, as well. So many different codes. Kids out running around and playing sport. We gave away our Rebel Sport Prize last week, so we've got another comp that'll launch early next week. Really encourage people to nominate people for that because I'd love to get as many noms as we can there. So we're going to do this on about those people who have kept sports running, and we know all of the amount of extra work that goes into sports and the volunteers as a result of COVID. So we want to try and reward some of those with some of our prizes from Rebel. So keep an eye out on the page for that as well. Righto, boys, it's been good. Next week, we might see if we can get one of the key players or someone like that involved, obviously, the day before the draft. So we might see what we can dig up there. So pretty exciting. So I'll be on the eve of the draft, which is countdown for that is obviously on the 14th. Thanks, boys.
Beautiful.
Good to talk to you. Excellent. See you all next week. Thanks for joining us on the Semi-Pros.
Adios, amigos.
Just about do, mate. Surely. There you go. That's outstanding. So much talent running around in our own backyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Semi-Pros. The Semi-Pros.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the score.